Hello guys, hope all of you are well, and in this video I am going to tell you some important points how to read the chapter Harappa from R.S. Sharma book Ancient History. Right, while we read the ancient history, we have to always keep it in mind that we have to read the chapter from 2 points of view. One is the from society and another is culture. Yeah, and here in the chapter I'll mention you just how to read, how to gather points for these two headlines, society and culture. Now see, when we say society regarding Harappa, first we have to see whether this society was advanced and backward. Obviously the Harappan society was quite advanced, right? Then we have to see what is the main aspect of Harappan society. One is urbanization, right? And when we read urbanization, we have to see what are the characteristics of urbanization, whether any kind of urbanization in Harappa represents any social discrimination. For example, citadel, higher citadel and lower citadel, it represents a kind of social discrimination. And one thing, another thing we have to discuss here, whether the urbanization in Harappa is a role model for the present time. Right. Then when we discuss this head urbanization, we have to discuss what are the prominent points of urbanization. Right. Like drainage pattern, each road dissects another road in a right angle. These points we have to gather for urbanization. Then another thing we have to discuss whether it represents any kind of social discrimination and how it is a role model for a present day urbanization. Right. Then when we take the elements of society, then we have to discuss the worship system. What is the worship system of Harappa? Right. And what are the gods and goddesses which are worshipped in Harappan society, and what this worshipping actually represent? Whether this worship system represents an institutional worship form, what is the role of priest? While we take the term institutional, we have to keep it in mind that what does institutional mean? Whether the Harappan religious system was in institutional? No. Institutional means the religious system in Harappa was not developed in temple. Right. Like in Gupta period, in which it has come into temple, the God was established in a temple and then was worshipped. It means it was developed in an institutional way in Gupta. But in Harappa period, there is no such institutional development of religion. And what is the role of priest? Right. Then other thing is that the religion was not so much developed in an institutional way. That is why the priest does not occupy a prevalent position in Harappan society. You might face some questions in objective from an objective point of view. There was no religious customs in Harappa. And there was Harappan society was not a priest-dominated society. The second option is right. Harappan society was not a predominant society, priest-dominated society. But it does not mean that there were no religious customs in Harappa. Obviously, there were many religious customs in Harappa. Then, while we discuss this head worship from religious point of view, we have to see what this worship represent, how we can gather the elements of society in Harappa from this worship. Animals were worshipped, and while we tell that animals are worshipped, then we have to gather a sufficient point to prove this. For example, Pashupati Mahadev, Humped Bull, these things you have to mention in your answer. Right, in this a mother goddess. Mother goddess. For example, we have seen a line in this chapter that an embryo was seen, a plant was seen growing from the embryo of a woman. It represents the worship of nature, worship of mother goddess. These all actually will come into the worship. On the one hand, worship points. It will also contribute to the society points, and it will also contribute to discuss this point, status of women in Harappan society. In this way, worship of nature, we have found a line that Pipal tree was worshipped. Right. These things actually, one way will contribute to right answer regarding the society elements, and one way it will contribute to right points regarding worship, regarding status of women, regarding status of nature, worship of nature, regarding the status or worship of mother goddess. Right. These are actually intermingling points. these all as a whole, all these will contribute to society points, but individually they will represent different point, right? Or under the head of society, under the subhead of society, that is called worship, and under again subhead of worship, these points will contribute in a different way to right points regarding woman, regarding nature, regarding mother goddess, etc. and etc. Right, but we have to point out, we have to note down the sufficient point. For example, what line we will bring to prove that Harappan society worship nature? People, mother goddess. That means the shield where it was depicted that a plant was growing from the embryo of a woman. Pasupati Mahadev. These points we have to note down and prepare for notes while we read the chapter Harappa. And these point worship, one way it will contribute to society, and another way it will contribute to the culture, because all these are actually cultural elements. God and goddess, nature, mother goddess, all these will also contribute to right answer regarding culture points alongside. And apart from this, while you read the chapter Harappa, from culture point of views, we have to take another notice of some other points. For example, shield and beach, how these were depicted. For example, how these were for what purposes they were used, what they represent, and what are their significance. Weight measurement, uniformity, and what they represent. And these shields are used for what purposes? For example, fashion. These beads and shields were used as a jewelry to represent weight, and how does they represent a luxurious Harappan society, right? And how they have contributed to the cultural points, and what are the different pictures which are depicted in these shields and beads. And another is the statue of dancing woman. Okay, and what this represent. While you read this chapter, we have to consider all these points. I am again going to give you a essence while read the Harappa chapter from Ancient History, R.S. Sharma, NCERT. We have to keep it in mind 2 points. One is society, another is culture. While you discuss the society, we have to see advanced or backward society. Obviously it is advanced. Then urbanization, what are the different points of urbanization, how this urbanization is a role model for present society, and how it represents, if it represents any social discrimination that come to the point of worship. What are the gods and goddesses and what they represent, whether nature was worshipped, and if it is, how. What is the status of mother goddess, right? How animals are worshipped. What is the status of woman, what is the status of priest, right? And how it contributed to the society to right answer from society point of view, and to a right answer from culture point of view. Another 2 important points, shields and beads, what they represent, what pictures were depicted here, and for what purpose they were used, and is this represent a luxurious society in Harappa, right? In this way we have to consider this chapter Harappa.